All right. Just want to thank everyone, and this has been awesome so far. I saw some of Dr. Ball's work early, and his critiques were so helpful in us understanding how sometimes the things that we believe or we spend a lifetime trying to build, some of that stuff just ain't true. It's a lie. And sometimes it's hard when you spend a whole life doing something to admit that you spent years and years doing something that when you get to the end of it, it really wasn't what you were told, what they told you would happen. So I'm just so thankful that Professor Ball has come and we're going to have a conversation really about something even more fundamental than even when we talk about money.
Listen, part of my work really is about the intense levels of effort that this society, more than any other, this country, the United States, is the most heavily sophisticated, propagandized society in the history of the world. This society has since the Second World War spent endless resources, not just in military warfare, but studying how to manipulate public opinion, shape consciousness, shape our identities, manipulate us, as they say, at every level with full spectrum dominance, even before birth, targeting us with messaging. We do not fully understand or appreciate the levels of psychological warfare we have been suffering. And their number one goal, people have talked about this as the unofficial religion of this country, is its attack on communism and socialism, as its defense of capitalism, because capitalism allows for more or less the anonymous organization of a white supremacist colonizing elite to rule us in anonymity without being recognized as having that role. So they can spend endless amounts of resources putting pundits, academics, scholars, engineers, anybody they can fund and put there. And in the field that I come out of, mass communication studies research, was developed specifically to suppress the other field I come out of, Africana studies and black studies, specifically with the idea, even in their own documents, of how do we take colonial warfare back to the United States to make sure that black people become not the threat that we know that they are to be. And one of the ways that they have said to do that is get them to buy into this idea that they can become the middle class, that they can invest their way to freedom, that they can circulate their dollar, when everyone who understands how the economy works knows that no one's wealth has ever been created that way. No one has circulated their dollar to wealth. No one has ever started businesses to wealth. They have militarily conquered the land and the territory, and they have imposed political policy apparatus that extracts the wealth that we all create. So I just want to say very clearly, we have already produced the wealth.
All right.
When we buy the coffee and pay our bills and we invest in our blockchain, when we set up our businesses, when we do all the things we have all done just to get here today, we have created a wealth that is at an annual basis about, they said most recently, about $150 trillion of wealth that 1% of the population walks away with. That's public policy. That's not because black people are ignorant. That's not because black people haven't studied our finances. One more thing. From work that my man DJ Muhammad and others have done, from 1992 to 2012, black people started more than 2 million businesses. And the amount of revenue from the national sales revenue that those businesses captured went down from a mere 1% to 0.5%. Meaning that this is not because black people don't know how to start businesses and that black people are not entrepreneurial and black people don't care about money. No, studies also show black people are the most responsible with what little money we have. The problem is a public policy apparatus that says the wealth you help create gets withdrawn upwards, ever upwards. And then the rest is left for us to compete with. And then we're told, you go back and invest in Bitcoin and invest in the business, and you go and do something that the wealthy never did to get the wealth that they have.